Now, and here we go. Now the session is being recorded. So far, 15 respondents, and if we see that, almost all of us feels that it is important to have in a cybersecurity awareness program in our organizations, considering the importance and severity of the cyber attacks and the cybersecurity trends which are going on around the globe. So having that said, I think it's pretty good responses. It's all yes. So which means that we all do agree that yes, there is a need to have the cybersecurity awareness program for our organization. And let's move to the next one. So here, now, once again, can you please start providing your responses to the next question? Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, it is visible.
Yes,
No, they can respond on the chat group. I can see the chat. Yes. Okay. So we got some responses which they are saying moderately important though. Definitely, I would like to have them request them to participate and contribute their viewpoint in the Q&A session, and then accordingly we will see why they feel that it is moderately important. It's not very important. Okay, so I think it's quite visible. So with that said, these two charts, most of us, we agree that it is very important for our organizations to have such a program though. Let me start by stopping. There's anyone left who has not responded to this survey? I'll just wait for another few minutes, few seconds, and then I will stop. Okay. So my screen is visible to everyone? Okay, that's good. So first of all, as we know, welcome you all for this session. It is on the platform of Pakistan IT professionals in Kuwait. The topic today is cybersecurity awareness program. As I said, we have chosen this topic for today's session, considering the importance and severity of the cyber attacks happening around the globe, and in particularly in this particular situation. My name is Ahmed Javed, and I'm just a cybersecurity professional. The agenda of today's session is, first we'll look into the cyber threat landscape around the globe, the region, and in particularly Middle East as well. And then we will try to understand the awareness, cybersecurity awareness methodology based on the leading practices. Generally, we use this term best practices around in our organizations. I personally do not agree or convinced to use that word or selection of words, best practices. Reason being that there's nothing best other than what is God's word. Rather, I prefer using the word leading practices, which are in result of multiple or thousands of professionals, researchers around the globe. And that's why I will use this term leading practice. And then we will look into some samples of the awareness solutions. We can take the aid of the technology to deliver these awareness sessions within our organizations. At the end, we will have a Q&A session. Right. So very first thing, the cyber threat landscape, if you see the screen, the right side chart is basically had been represented by the World Economic Forum back in 2019, where they have rated cyber attacks as the fourth highest risk to the global economies pre-COVID situation. Considering the latest numbers which are coming, it has been enhanced, it has been increased more than what the status has been presented back in 2019. However, it has not been significantly increased because again the global pandemic has taken the major space there in that quadrant. So the as I said, like it has been rated as a fourth largest risk to the global economies, and considerably within Gulf region from past couple of years. I mean, the if we take the statistics from 2016 to 2018 only, the number of cyber attacks has been increased from 28% to 41%, and these numbers are statistically proven and as a successful attacks, not just attempts or reconnaissance. It has been actual breaches which happened, which is quite an alarming number. With that said, if we have heard, or most of us might have heard, the incidents which are the news became the public for the breaches which actually happens with the organizations which we know and interacted in ourselves, including Commercial Bank of Kuwait. A couple of years back, it was a big breach, big noise. In Qatar, it was Qatar National News Agency (QNA) and Jazeera as well. The lots of sensitive information got leaked, and these are those incidents which became public. Now, after putting a lot of effort into the organizations by enhancing the awareness among the people who are dealing with the sensitive information, we have felt that, I mean, from back, the time required to detect such incidents or such attacks has been improved. Improved in a sense that the time required, the time span required to detect such incidents have been reduced from 71% to 86%. People were being able to detect such incidents because they were aware of the general trends. It does help achieving the compliance to the adequate level because that is a statutory audit requirement, internal audit, and the policy requirement as well, to that people who are dealing with the sensitive information, they need to comply with the policy and procedures, as well as they should be familiar about the risks involved. At the end, why it is important, because people are, or people feel comfortable dealing with such people whom they trust. And that actually, in the business world, that actually helps us building the trustworthy and loyal relationships as well. So at the time being, when I'll not take the questions though, when at the end, when I'll not look into the chat group, because if there's something really important for me to stop somewhere, please request Mr. Kashif Saab to stop me. But I'll take the question and answer at the end. So that's after seeing the statistics within the region. All of us, we are way or another, or the organizational managements have been asked this question: do you really need awareness, security awareness and the trainings or awareness sessions? The answer is that human error caused alarming rise of 93% of data breaches globally. The people are one of the core pillar of any organizational setup. Generally, we divide cybersecurity organization into three pillars, which is again people, process, technology. Here today, considering the topic and the relevance, we'll talk about one pillar, which is people. And people are the most vulnerable assets of any organization if they are not familiar about or aware about the sensitivity of the information they are dealing with. People in the context of cybersecurity, if they are not aware about the risks involved, they are considered as the weakest link. And social engineering, which is a technique to exploit human weaknesses, becomes a very effective threat vector to exploit. And insider threats are next to impossible to mitigate, which are very difficult. Now, insider threats are those threats which are prone to our information assets from within the organizations, primarily from people. The cybersecurity per se, any function within the organization, any team, or any cybersecurity leader of your organization, generally that is CISO or any role, the IT security manager, you can say information security manager, cybersecurity manager, or CISO, or whoever. He has to deliver this message to his organization that humans are the strongest link in cybersecurity if they are aware of these risks involved around that information they're dealing with, and they are the chain of security is in everyone's hand, is in your hand, is in executive management hand, is it with each and every staff. You are the first line of defense against security risks. We are talking about people here, regardless of his seniority in the organization, whether he belongs to the executive group or IT or who else. At the end, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. The primary objective for cybersecurity is not to protect your infrastructure. The primary objective of cybersecurity to protect your information assets, your data, your information. So any technology infrastructure, whether it's a servers or network or storages or applications or whatnot, are you being used to process, to store, to retrieve, to protect, to send and or receive the same information, the same data, which collectively as a whole team, whether it's from IT or non-IT or from executive, they are trying to protect. Now, my question here is that who is the right person in your organization to tell the right sensitivity level of any information? Please open your mics and just say the role name. You can
Chief
open your mic.
Executive Officer first.
Chief Executive Officer. Okay.
Could you please repeat your question, please?
My question is, who is the right person in your organization to tell what is the level of sensitivity of that particular information?
IT
Most
manager.
probably IT, yeah.
IT
security
manager,
personnel.
CEO. Okay.
CIO, Chief Information Officer.
Okay. And any other?
CIO or the
owner of
process manager of that
It's
process.
your department head.
Yeah, no. Who said process manager?
Me.
Shawaz sir is the closest one. See, the most right person to tell that how sensitive this information is actually the information creator, the information document producer. For example, an HR officer is creating a report. Once he creates that, then he is the right person from a business context to tell that how sensitive this information is. There are a lot of information which is being developed and produced. If we associate each and every information asset to be owned or accountable with CEO, yes, he is accountable for the whole organization, but for that particular piece of information, that is the creator. That could be the most of the time that is non-technical staff who is actually creating that information. That could be a salary report, that could be a production report, or sales data, or purchase data, or vendor database, or contracts, or whatever. All of this information is sensitive, but the level of sensitivity needs to be established by the business or the process owner itself. Thank you very much, Abasa, for the valuable contribution. Now, moving further, now, yes, we agreed that we need to have a cybersecurity awareness program in our organization, but how much is the need? Based on the analysis, based on the surveys, we found that every organization today have to have a comprehensive cybersecurity awareness program established in their organizations. Why? Because technologies keep changing. Every new technology brings its own risks and challenges along. That's why the attack vectors have been changing day by day. The cyber attacks have becoming more and more complicated, more sophisticated, more targeted, more devious, and more short. I mean, they takes less time than before. And on top of it, like, if the hackers, when they come and they try to recognize, like, they do the reconnaissance attacks, and they try to understand our networks and infrastructure and the vulnerabilities around, they take less time, and they try to be present within our networks in form of from the back doors, or from malware, from a lot of other Trojan horses which they drop. Those are the time bombs. So most of the time we found, while doing the compromise assessments, like the understanding the current cybersecurity risk exposure of the organizations, we found that such malwares or Trojan horses present in the environment already, but they are not activated. So such sort of the attack vectors needs to be understood by the people who are dealing with information, applications, and infrastructure. Primarily, of course, not only the security team, from the network team, databases, server team, everyone, they have to be more vigilant, and they have to adopt such practices which helps preventing such and the intrusive activities within our environment. Now, generally, cybersecurity awareness program involves development of content. That could be a customized content, or that can go with the standard certification trainings and that sort of things, to let the people aware that what are the standard or the leading practices to identify such or to detect such incidents and respond to. Or there could be more customized and focused ones, such as any cybersecurity awareness program has to be focused, tailored, and customized as per your organizational requirements. Copy-paste model generally fails. Generally, about this having such awareness program, like, people think that such as when one of our very respected group member, once we were discussing, like, almost a couple of years back, about the same awareness program was needed to run in his organization, and he said, like, why not to bring only the LMS, and that will serve the purpose. So my comment was the same, that LMS as a learning management system is a tool. Bringing just a tool does not help anyone one to solve its business problem to achieve or to achieve the purpose or the objective of having your staff aware about the cybersecurity trends. It may help a bit, but it not serve or achieve the objective. Why? Because there are a lot of misconceptions around. Let's see what are those misconceptions. Some of those. First of all, it is not the strength that protects you. It is agility. It is not the compliance that assures the protection. It is the discipline. It is not what you know, it is what you don't know. And at the end, and most critical, it is not the skill that makes somebody qualified for, it is the behavior. And that's what the point or the message to deliver out of this session is that the traits which has been presented the right side on this slide are the traits related to the people. The agility, the discipline, now having the policies and procedures developed and approved and implemented all over, but if people are not disciplined to adhere to the policies, you imagine what can happen, what can go wrong. And it's more the knowledge, the competency of the people, the awareness. It is not what you know, it is what more we are concerned about that which you don't know. Even in certain cases, like our own organizational security teams are not aware of the new trends and tools which are being used, such as, take my example. I'm in this field from like past more than 17 years, and still I don't know there are the full set of tools been delivered as part of Kali Linux. I have never used all of those. On top of it, there are many people who are skilled in the organization, because in order to run an effective awareness program, we need to have a skilled, competent, and qualified security team on the board, right? But their behavior is one, how much they are committed to comply with the policies and how effectively they respond to such incidents makes the whole effort successful. Any questions so far? You can ask the questions now.
Sorry to interrupt. If we might have a disconnection of the session, so we'll reinitiate the session. Just an announcement. Thank you.
Right, thank you. But my request is let's join the new let's drop this session. Let's join the new one and start asking the questions. Before we go to the next link, my kind request is, before asking a question, please state your name and your current role in the organization, and then you ask a question. Thank you very much. Let's catch up in the next. Yeah.
Yes. So we have 1 minute left, so we'll reinitiate the session.
Let's close it. Yeah.
Okay.